Hi, I'm Bina Champaneria. I'm actually living in the Netherlands at the moment. I've lived there for 5 years, but I did live in Bradford. I teach at a university there. It's an international university. I teach in English, teach business and management. And studying in Bradford, I did the Bradford MBA, which I've just finished after about 3.5 years.
So how does it feel now you've got the qualification?
Absolutely fantastic. I can't believe that having lived in Bradford, I actually got qualified here as well. So it's an enormous relief, a fantastic journey, and well recommended actually.
And so what, any lessons you learned?
You can do anything if you really put your mind to it, if you get organised, if you break things down into chunks, build your confidence, a lot of self-motivation, because I did mine distance learning as well. So yes, go for it, just keep going and find different ways of learning. We've all got our own learning styles, so it's also about discovering yourself and managing things.
Are there any features of the MBA that you think are particularly strong?
Well,
study books, online support, that kind of
I
thing.
really like the workbooks. I think the workbooks were excellent. We've got workbooks for every subject, and when you're a distance learning student, having a workbook to work through was really, really useful. I thought that was a good.
Like a guide to the studies.
It was a guide. It guided you in a way. It replaced the teacher, because you didn't have a teacher in front of you. So it told you what you needed to do, what you should read, what you should practice. So it kind of guided me through being able to work on it on my own, for sure.
And the online tutorials, useful or?
Very useful actually. For the ones that I took part in, very useful, because it's like a classroom situation, and you get a chance to ask questions, get feedback, and also listen to what other students think, which again, if you're a distance learner, is really useful because you get that kind of community environment. So yes, more of those would be fantastic.
In terms of the interaction, the forms of interaction, were the tutors useful? Did you find that they engaged with you? Or?
I think overall they did. Obviously it depends per tutor. Sometimes you communicate by email. When I was doing my thesis, it was by Skype, for example. So it's per individual really, but I think you've got to make the effort, and yes, it's good. You've got to ask the questions, but there's also the forum on Blackboard as well. So if there's questions that you have, somebody else might have asked those questions. So I think you need to be proactive and keep looking at the information that's there as well.
Okay. Final one, Bina. If somebody was considering doing it, what advice? 3 pieces of advice would you give somebody?
Okay, the 3 pieces of advice I would give anybody who's doing, say, the MBA from a distance learning perspective is something like get organised, schedule your time, know what you have to do, keep motivated, keep going, ask questions, get feedback, and also balance your life. It's about work and play. Okay, that's not very academic, but it's important to have a balance, I think. So those are my 3 tips that work for me.